Hey, welcome back to another Movie Reviews to Go. My name's Henry, and today I'm going to be reviewing King Arthur, The Legend of the Sword. We have had many interpretations of this movie, obviously. The classic Disney movie Sword in the Stone, Merlin, the British TV show, if you ever caught that one. We've also had that Keira Knightley, Clive Owen debacle movie. This King Arthur story was told even by Monty Python, which I actually love. King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, was directed by Guy Ritchie, and same director that did Sherlock Holmes, Snatch. I think you're getting familiar with his kind of movies that he directs and the style that he does, and you'll see a lot of that in this movie as well. Stars Charlie Hunnam. You probably recognize him from Sons of Anarchy. Movies like Pacific Rim. I actually like Pacific Rim. It's too bad he's not in the second Pacific Rim. Also has Jude Law and Djimon Hounsou. We have some great actors in this movie. One of the things that I've noticed with directors, especially like Guy Ritchie and other directors, they like to work with certain actors over and over and over again. He has a lot of the actors from Sherlock Holmes in this movie as well, which I thought was kind of cool. I mean, I know that Christopher Nolan does that with a lot of his movies. If you look at a lot of the movies he directs, the actors in his movies are all similar, or they're the same ones. You know what? If you got something, like they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? You're probably familiar with the story of The Legend of the Sword. This is the one where, King Arthur pulls the sword out of the stone, and he's like the only one, and he is the rightful heir to the throne. He is the only one that can wield the Excalibur, which is the name of the sword, or a little history fact there. The take on this movie was a little different. Obviously, this story has been told many different ways, and Guy Ritchie, being the type of director he is, I was kind of curious how he would take this movie and make it fun or a good story. And just so you know, this is actually the first of a 6-part series, or a 6-part movie series. See how that goes, being how this movie does. So we do go through basically the beginning of the story for King Arthur. We see him as a kid, and then we see him grow up, and then we see him become the man that then pulls the sword of the stone. I'm not giving any spoilers right here. That's the story. If you don't know the story, you may want to read up on this. The cool things about the movie that I liked was the action. I thought the action was played really well. Guy Ritchie, I love his style. I'm liking his style, and I'm loving everything that he's doing with it. If you have seen Sherlock Holmes, you're going to know what I mean by his style, because he uses this in a lot of his movies. The way he tells a story in the movie is pretty cool. And the music he uses and the fast pace of telling the story and just everything he uses, I think works, and I like it. If you are into the Sherlock Holmes style with the storytelling and the fast cuts and the tempo and all that, you're going to like this too, because he does that here, and I think he uses it in a fun way, and it works. And it does tell us, it cuts out a lot of stuff. There was a lot of Matrix type stuff in there, which I thought was kind of interesting. The whole 360 camera pan with some of that, which was like, okay, let's see where it goes. It is fantastical. It does have some fantasy in the movie. So if that's going to turn you off, may not be for you. But if you're already kind of going into it knowing that that's the case, you'll like it. But again, it's not used in a weird way. I thought it was used good. If Lord of the Rings is what comes to mind when I think of the fantastical type things in this movie. The villain in the movie, played by... Oh, should I give that away? The villain in the movie, I loved it. I thought he worked, and he did such a good job. And, the acting in this movie made it for me. Charlie Hunnam, I'm not familiar with his... I never saw Sons of Anarchy. I did see Pacific Rim, and I liked him in there. And for this movie, I thought he did a great job. He sold me on King Arthur. He played the part well. I had a cool discussion with my son about his role and everything in the movie, and just his character, and that really impressed me, just the way he managed to pull it off. Interesting fact, he actually had to get ripped for this movie because Guy Ritchie, the director, didn't think he looked the part just yet. And he had to gain muscle. He had to gain mass, basically, because he was too skinnier, I guess, for Guy Ritchie. He just didn't sell him on it. He did it, and boy, does it show. Anyways. My final thoughts as far as, like, pros and cons. Pros, I enjoyed the fast pace. I enjoyed the action fast pace. I enjoyed the storytelling. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the acting. The negative, and it's a really minor negative for me, but it does have a negative. Sorry. It dragged in some of the spots. I felt like there were certain things in the movie that he could have just cut down more. Like, he didn't have to tell it, or I don't know. It just certain things took too long to explain, and I didn't like that. Once we got to the next action piece, I was just like, all right, and the music, oh my gosh, the music, such a great score. I love the music, just made the movie even better for me. I enjoyed it so much. The music did such a good job. So my final thoughts, it's a fun, entertaining movie. It has some fantasy in it. It does tell a great story about the Sword in the Stone. Charlie Hunnam does a great job. Guy Ritchie does an amazing directing job with this movie. Some people may not agree with me, but you know what? I enjoyed it, and I want to give you my thoughts because I had a fun time. I actually want to go see it again, and I know that if you guys are into his style, you will enjoy this movie too. So I definitely want you to go watch this. It's a movie to go for sure on my end, and let me know what you think if you go watch it. I want to hear your thoughts. Are we on the same page? Put them in the comments below. Give me a like if you're liking what I'm doing, for sure. And then if you're new to my channel, I want to hear from you. I do. Just say hi. Subscribe. I like new people. So thanks for coming again. I enjoy doing these reviews, and I'm going to start doing more as summer comes. We're getting more movies. I'm excited. And I hope that you guys are watching movies because I know that I am.